Hello learners, welcome to NIOS. Today we will study fourth part of the seventh chapter. Chapter's name is Popular Resistance Movements Against the British Rule. Our topic for today is Causes of the Revolt of the year 1857. This is a very interesting and important topic of Indian history. I hope you will benefit from watching this video. Learners, in the previous lessons, we discussed about the tribal revolts in the 19th century. We learned the meaning and concept of the tribes and tribals in India. We also came to know about the causes of the tribals' revolt against British rule. As you know, few important tribal revolts were the Santhal, Munda, Garo, and Jaintia, and Kol, and Mapila. We have already learnt that the British policies had made many sections of the Indian society unhappy. Zamindars, farmers, and rulers whose lands had been taken away by the British were angry with the foreign rule. Some sections of Indian army were also against the Britishers. We will discuss the various causes that led to the beginning of the revolt of 1857. Learners, we can divide these causes into 5 categories. The first category is the political causes. The second category is the economic causes. Third category is the social and religious causes. Fourth category is the discontent in army. And fifth category is the immediate causes. So these 5 causes were the main reasons behind the revolt of 1857. Let us first study the political causes that were responsible for the beginning of the 1857 revolt. So now we are going to discuss about political causes. This is the first cause. It is important to understand that the basic aim of the British in India was to occupy new lands and collect as much wealth as possible. The money that they earned was sent to England. For this, they adopted the policy of lapse and subsidiary alliance. Dear learners, doctrine of lapse was the policy by which the British occupied Indian states. There were two conditions for this. The first condition, if an Indian ruler died childless without any child, his state was occupied by the British. Under this policy, the Indian rulers were not allowed to adopt a child and declare him as their successor. By giving this reason, British annexed states of Satara, Jhansi, and Nagpur. The British occupied these states due to this policy. The second condition is if the Britishers felt that the ruler of the state was incompetent, that means not able to rule properly, his state was also occupied by the British. The British occupied the state of Awadh, Oudh, saying that its ruler, Wazid Ali Shah, was an incompetent ruler. Learners, do you know who had started the policy of doctrine of lapse? It was started by Lord Dalhousie. He was the Governor General of the company EIC. EIC is East India Company. We should remember that the policy of lapse was not just bad for Indian rulers, but it was bad for those people also who were dependent upon these rulers, like the soldiers, scholars, priests, etc. When the British occupied new areas, the people in those states lost their jobs. In fact, no new jobs were given to these people and they became poor. The British started interfering in the political, social, and religious matters of Indians. As a result of this, the Indians became afraid of them. Now we will discuss the second cause of the 1857 revolt. and its name is economic causes. Learners, as you all know, that the British had come to India as traders. India was famous for her wealth and resources, so the British tried to take away as much wealth as possible. The English adopted such policies that Indian trade and industry was badly affected. Let us find out how. The British would send raw material from India to England, where it was turned into ready made items. Those items were then sent back to India, where they were sold at high prices. The Indian handmade goods could not compete with the machine made goods of England. Many craftsmen lost their job as the British sent Indian raw materials to their country. Very little was left for the use of Indian industries. British introduced railways in India. The railways connected the raw material producing areas with the ports. From these ports, the goods were sent to England. As a result, English items could easily come in the Indian markets. Learners, we have learnt that the main aim of the British in India was to earn as much wealth as possible. For this, they introduced new land taxes like the Mahalwari, permanent settlement, and Rayotwari settlement. The rate of tax was very high, and most of the time that farmers could not pay it. Therefore, they had to borrow money from the moneylenders at very high rate of interest. Thus, we see that the economic and agricultural policies of British government had destroyed many sections of society like craftsmen, farmers, workers, etc., and led to the beginning of the revolt of 1857. Social and religious causes. This is the third cause we are going to discuss. Learners, the British started many social reforms in the country. Laws were passed against practices like sati and female infanticide or killing of baby girls. Steps were taken to start education of girls, widow remarriage, etc. All these changes made many people unhappy. They thought that the foreigners were trying to destroy their religion and culture. To some extent, these fears were true, as the Christian missionaries opened schools and colleges in the country and they used them as means to convert Indian people to Christianity. The Indian soldiers working in the British Army were forced to do things that were against their religion. For example, the Hindu soldiers were asked not to wear tilak on forehead and wear turban or pagadi. Similarly, the Muslim soldiers were asked to cut their beards. It was also made compulsory for Indian soldiers to go out of India and serve in foreign countries. This was seen as an attack on religion, as for most Indians, crossing the sea was against their religion. Now we will discuss the fourth cause. The fourth cause is discontent in the army. Learners, the unhappiness of soldiers in British Indian Army was an important reason for the revolt of 1857. Let us study it in more details. The soldiers in the army of EIC, that means East India Company, came from farmer families. As the condition of farmers had become bad due to British policies, the soldiers were naturally angry from the Britishers. The Indian soldiers who were working in the army, they were not given higher post in the army. They were not given post above that of subedars. And also, the salaries of Indian soldiers were less than those of the British soldiers. Now we will discuss the fifth cause of the 1857 revolt. This is immediate causes. Dear learners, by now you know that because of the policies of the British people, most Indians were unhappy with them. And only a spark was needed to explode the revolt. And that came in the form of greased cartridges. Greased cartridges? You must be surprised to see this word. In the year 1856, the British government decided to introduce new Enfield rifles in place of old ones. So, all the old rifles were to be exchanged with the new one. And to use the new rifle, the soldier had to bite the cartridge from their mouth. In the year 1857, the soldiers came to know that the cartridge was made from parts of cow and pig. While the Hindus worship the cow and the Muslim consider pig as impure. Therefore, the soldiers thought that it was a plan of the British to destroy their religion. And finally, the soldiers revolted against the British government on 29th March 1857. Learners, let us quickly revise all that we have learned in the video so far. We discussed the causes of the revolt of the year 1857. In this, we discussed the 5 main causes. The first cause was political cause. The second cause was economic cause. The third cause was social and religious cause. The fourth cause was discontent of army. And the fifth cause was the immediate causes, the immediate reasons. After that, we discussed about the policy of lapse, which was given by Lord Dalhousie, and its results. With this, we have come to the end of this video. I hope you liked watching it and understood all the points clearly. If you have any query, you can email us at signlanguage@nios.ac.in. You can also visit our website at www.nios.ac.in. If you want to see more educational videos in sign language, you can subscribe to YouTube channel of NIOS. Thank you for watching. Namaskar.
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने, राहों को आलोकित करने। अपना दीपक स्वयं बने हम, अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने।
धन साधन समय की सीमा से विद्यालय जो मुक्त हो,
धन साधन समय की सीमा से विद्यालय जो मुक्त हो।
कभी पढ़े हम कहीं पढ़े, वे विषय की लोच से युक्त हो। मित्रों हम उठे और जागे,
मंजिल आने की ध्वनि सुने हम, अपना दीपक स्वयं बने हम, अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने। कोई मन चाहा केंद्र चुने हम, स्वयं बने हम,
घर बैठे पाएं राष्ट्रीय मुक्त विद्यालय शिक्षा संस्थान यानी NIOS में एडमिशन, वो भी एकदम आसान तरीके से, जिससे शिक्षार्थियों को होगी समय और धन दोनों की बचत। NIOS से शिक्षा कभी भी कहीं भी। शिक्षार्थियों, क्या आप जानते हैं NIOS में एडमिशन लेने का सरल और सुगम तरीका, जिससे शिक्षार्थियों को ऑनलाइन प्रवेश लेने में सहूलियत मिलती है। NIOS में प्रवेश की प्रक्रिया पूर्णतया ऑनलाइन है। शिक्षार्थी घर बैठे इंटरनेट द्वारा प्रवेश के लिए सबसे पहले NIOS की वेबसाइट www.nios.ac.in पर लॉगिन करें। अपना ईमेल आईडी और पासवर्ड डालकर अपना पंजीकरण करें। पंजीकरण के बाद लॉगिन करने पर ऑनलाइन प्रवेश हेतु आवेदन पत्र खुलेगा। आवेदन पत्र को निर्देशानुसार भरें और प्रिंट आउट लें। इस प्रिंट आउट पर अपनी फोटो संलग्न करें। ऑनलाइन प्रवेश के लिए शुल्क हेतु भुगतान के तरीके हैं: क्रेडिट कार्ड के द्वारा, डेबिट कार्ड के द्वारा, राष्ट्रीयकृत बैंक के ड्राफ्ट के माध्यम से, जो कि सचिव NIOS नई दिल्ली या नोएडा के पक्ष में देय हो। भरे हुए आवेदन पत्र के साथ साथ डिमांड ड्राफ्ट और संलग्न किए जाने वाले दस्तावेज हैं: जन्म रजिस्ट्रार के जिला कार्यालय से जारी जन्म प्रमाण पत्र की सत्यापित प्रति, जिसमें जन्म तिथि अंकित हो, पिछले विद्यालय से प्राप्त विद्यालय छोड़ने का प्रमाण पत्र, जिसमें आवेदक की जन्म तिथि लिखी हो। प्रवेश फॉर्म का प्रिंट आउट NIOS के संबद्ध क्षेत्रीय केंद्रों पर 10 दिनों में पहुंच जाना चाहिए, अन्यथा उचित दस्तावेज न लगे होने पर आवेदन फॉर्म रद्द किया जा सकता है। प्रवेश प्रक्रिया की पुष्टि होने के बाद शिक्षार्थियों को परिचय पत्र व अध्ययन सामग्री डाक द्वारा तुरंत पहुंचाई जाती है। ऑनलाइन प्रवेश एक बहुत ही सुगम और सुविधाजनक प्रवेश प्रणाली है। ऑनलाइन ऑन टाइम फॉर सेफ एंड सिक्योर एडमिशन।